meantime, maybe some more people will come. So, hello everybody, здравствуйте. Sorry I have to make this in English, потому что я только чуть-чуть speak Russian. So, welcome to the end of the semester presentation of our human-computer interaction for artificial intelligence design class 2019 summer master students. So in this class, 3 teams work very diligently to produce artificial assistants or agents or software characters that help us in our lives. And I hope everybody learned something in the class. I learned a lot of things from the students, so that's always good. What the students did, just for everybody who's here and doesn't know what we are doing, is they went out in the world, they talked to people, tried to understand what people need, what people want, what people dream about, and then they came up with a lot of crazy and interesting and boring ideas, and then we picked the best out of these ideas, and those are the ones that you see now. And then we worked a lot in improving that, making sure that we really address user needs, that we know what they want, and that also the designs and the products and the solutions that we create make sense and are interesting. And so that's what we did in the class. So you will see 3 presentations, and some of them have demos in them. And so afterwards you can also try for yourself and ask the teams questions about how they did it and what was, I don't know, the best thing in the class. All right, so we start with team number 1. Their project is Witty, and the rest they will tell.
Thank you, Professor. Hello, everyone. We're Team Witty. Thanks for coming today. And we would like to start with a question. The question we'd like to ask you is, how difficult is the life of a teacher? To try to answer this question, we went and spoke with the teachers at the school in Innopolis here. And some of the teachers that we spoke to was the deputy director of the school. We can see him here, Yuzet. And Dmitry, he's teacher of geography, actually a brilliant one. He won Best Teacher Award in October 2018. So they shared some challenges that they have with us. And the challenges are, imagine you want to host a class. What do you have to do to deliver such a class? There would be few things that you have to do. First of all, you would have to prepare some relevant and entertaining content that your students would love. Then you would have to conduct the class and deliver it in a very engaging manner, right? And then, very important things that apart from delivering, you want to make sure that students retain this material, that you give them some means to revise it. And at the same time, you have to manage the class. So you have to remind your kids, your students about the homework, and you have remember to take notes as well. So a lot of managerial and organizational work. And all of this is actually not easy to do because this is just one lesson and you would have to prepare like 6 of them every day. And students, they are not helping as well. They want just to have fun lessons. They don't want to study, right? And don't want to do homework. So what would be the ideal world in which teachers would have easy time being a teacher, right? In which being a teacher would be fun and just not exhausting. In regards to the challenges that we had, like we were thinking, what would be this ideal world? So in terms of content and preparation for the class, it would be great if the class was prepared for you, all the content ready and served on the fly. So you just come and you try to deliver it and the content just pops up itself. In terms of conducting, we want students that are very happy, very engaged, they love studying. And for revision, we actually, like, because designing for revision, you have to design quizzes and quizzes basically, and tests. It's additional work as well. It would be fun if somebody did it for you. So for example, an examinator comes at the end of the class and hosts like a quick session, revision session, where students can help students to retain the material. And in terms of managing the class, it would be great to have an assistant who takes all the notes, sends reminders. And our thought process was like, okay, this is the ideal world. How can we help to bring it about? What can we do? And we came up with Witty. Witty is AI assistant, artificial intelligence assistant for a teacher that aims to take all this work. And you know what she says?
Hey, teacher, leave those kids to me.
So this is Pink Witty speaking, if you get the reference. Okay, so what do we need to bring Witty to the classroom? We need to actually very few things, which you can see here. We need a projector, a board, and a microphone, a speaker. Having this setup, any classroom can have Witty. So what happens? Basically, teacher sets up all this equipment and introduces Witty to the class. Witty, now being part of this class, is present. She listens. She listens. And what follows from it? Actually, the ability to listen gives us ability to understand analyze on what's happening in the class, and actually provide some content. So our first idea was, okay, imagine you're speaking and Witty just visualizes everything you're saying, so prepares a presentation for you on the fly. This was our first prototype that we built, speech visualizer. And here's like a video.
History. The university in which I studied was Edinburgh University. I studied computer science degree there. I spent 4 years, and basically Scotland became like second home for me. And I loved the time there. I met a lot of great people. I've learned a lot, and even though I was a bit young and I couldn't.
So here, as you can see, we're testing our first prototype, and I'm describing Scotland and Edinburgh, and Witty serves the photos on the go. This was our first idea and our first prototype. Then we thought, okay, what else could be done? This is kind of part of the solution of the content problem. What could be done to engage the class and to help them retain the material? So we thought, okay, since Witty can analyze on what's happening in the class, why doesn't she, after the class, generate the quiz for people?
Hello, I'm Witty. Let's play a quiz game.
So this was our second idea and our second prototype, where we made Witty generate quizzes for us, and then listen, engage the students by itself to have this quiz hosted. So actually, we tested it with some students here at Innopolis, and we have G here. Maybe some of them you know, right? And these are kids from the camp. And we actually found that this is a fun idea, and like people are loving it. So this is the feedback from the students. But what we want to do, we actually want to host a game here so that you can try it as well. Actually, it would be cool if some of the guests join us for this game. Maybe a couple, and Alexei, if you want to join us, and maybe Hamza, like it would be very cool. Yeah, please have a seat. Have a seat too. So what will happen now? You will play a quiz with Witty or Witty. And she's sweet, right? Yeah. So she listens. Yeah, she listens basically. We will not be involved with this game, okay? We will be just standing aside. So please try to speak loudly so she understands what you're saying. And yeah, have fun. Constantine, please.
Hello, I'm Witty. Let's play a quiz game. Choose a topic. You've chosen countries. Guess the word from the pictures. You have 30 seconds.
Sweden. Berlin. England. Neuschwanstein.
Time is running out.
China.
Well done for a human. The answer was Germany. Next picture.
Italy.
You got it, Captain. It was Italy. Let's go further.
Sweden. Alaska. Iceland. Norway. Norway.
10 seconds left.
Russia. England. Finland.
Time is out. The answer was Austria. Let's go further.
South Korea. China.
Japan.
Japan.
Come on, it's easy.
Japan.
Taiwan.
Taiwan. Hong
Next
Kong.
picture. Next picture.
Oh, this is France.
So good.
North Korea.
Look at this smartipants. The word was North Korea. Next picture.
India.
Smart is the new black. The word was India. Next quiz. You have 30 seconds.
Italy. Italy. Mexico.
Not bad at all. The answer is Mexico. Game over. You've done okay. Come back for more.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. So, you get the idea, right? Witty hosts a game, and like what we want to do basically, as you could have seen, she actually hosts the game itself. The content was generated by us for now, but in future we want Witty to generate the content by herself. But I want you to note something, at all this time while she was engaged in the class, teacher could have time for herself, right? Time to manage her business and prepare a little bit, maybe make some notes. And you know what? This teacher, like having free time is very cool. And when you have a break, it makes you a little bit happier. So what we want is to help teachers to win and to keep students engaged. And happier teacher means happier students and better education. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. So I think we will do the questions at the end, so people can come to you and ask you. And with that, I would say thank you very much, Team Witty. Actually, there's some more team members in the room. And yeah, and we move on to the next team, going from teaching in schools to children who are a little bit smaller, and seeing what voice assistants can do for them. So that's our second team.
Just one thing more. You mentioned that we have more team members, and I think it would be just to mention, because it wasn't just two of us doing the work. So this is Konstantin. We also have Shah and Shahista, who will doing all the work. And, yeah, so this is our team. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So here we are. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
team number 2, and I'm a representative of team number 2, by the way, and we're ready to present you our project, which called Fable. It is an amazing sleeping assistant. So what does it mean? Now we'll show it to you. First of all, who is here know what does it mean to be parent? Who have a kids? Yeah. Guys, who have deals with kids all the time during very often? Yeah. Not too much, by the way, yes, but still, I hope that all of you will face this situation somewhere. And by the way, it's of course it's great, and we love our kids, all of us, yes. It's enjoyable moments of our lives when we can spend the time together with them, to have some interaction with them, especially when they're small. We can play, but as it usually happens, sometimes we all are human, and sometimes we can tired when we come home from work. We have no energy to share with our kids. We can't spend this routine from day to day with them. For example, let's take process of telling them some stories, yes, some fairy tales. From day to day in the evening, we have to do it, and sometimes we don't want to do it. But kids, they're small, they don't understand it. They don't know our problems. They don't realize that we're tired. And sometimes we want to relax a bit, to spend our time alone without them. And that is okay, actually. It's not a problem. We're not a bad people, but it's just it's life, and we have to do something with that. And how we can solve this problem? That kids want to spend the time probably with us, and we want to have some free time without them. Yes. Our team makes some brainstorming on this topic, and we came out with the idea that toy, maybe the favorable toy of your kids, and voice assistant in the form of chatbot in Telegram could be combined in something amazing, in some kind of new experience, which we call Fable. So it will result in sleeping kid, and how actually it's gonna work. We decided that we can create an amazing story, fairy tale, based on your speech, on your voice record. So the idea is that you record your ordinal, some kind of story, and our assistant helps you to create some amazing, unique experience for your kid. It enriches this record with some new sound effects. For example, it could be music, it could be voices of animals in this story, and with such kind of enrichment, this story becomes like a difference between this gray donkey and this fabulous unicorn. So that is the difference that we want to show, and that is the difference that should be very interesting experience, not only for you but for your kid as well. So again, how it works? We have a toy, for example here, we have a person, and we have a phone. And through the phone, a person records some story and send it to a chatbot, and it returns to you the new version of this story, of this fairy tale, that you can play to your kid, and during this time you can spend this time for yourself, like watching TV in another room or something like this. And during this time also the kid will listen to the story, and we hope that it will help you to force him to sleep. So here actually you can see the first version of our solution. It's the Fable 1.0, and here you can see the result. Yeah. By the way, I want to tell you that it's hard to get some kind of recordable feedback, because yes, we have some like we tested through some persons, Probably. Yes, and okay, people ready to share feedback with us in personal way, but they're not okay with sharing like for public, like show some videos of how their kids interact with this solution, because it's our kids. We don't want to share it with somebody else. Yes, it's too personal. So this is the only picture which we can show to you, and I'm not okay even with this because it's it's my baby. Come on, guys, I don't want to do it. Yes, but okay, let's. I hope I explain you somehow how it works. But the best way to see it is to try it in real life. Yes. So anyone, I need a volunteer, by the way. Who want to participate? No. Alex again? Okay, come on. So, come here. You'll stay here. Yeah. Imagine you're 4 years old kid. Okay? No. Come back. My team doesn't know what I'm going to do. You're 4 years old kid, and this is your favorite toy. By the way, how do you want to call it? Ellie? Ellie. Okay. So, this is your daddy. This is your daddy, and he wants to spend some time alone, and he want to, yeah, he will record a story for you, so you will sleep with Ellie. And come on, let's start.
Жили-были дед да баба. Была у них курочка ряба. Снесла курочка яичко, непростое, золотое. Дед бил, не разбил. Баба била, не разбила. Мышка бежала, хвостиком задела, яичко упало и разбилось. Дед плачет, баба плачет, а курочка кудахчет. Не плачь, дед, не плачь, баба. Снесу вам яичко, не золотое, а простое.
Okay, and now please ask Ellie to tell the story.
Ellie, tell us a story.
Жили-были дед да баба. Была у них курочка ряба. Снесла курочка яичко, непростое, золотое. Дед бил, не разбил. Баба била, не разбила. Мышка бежала, хвостиком задела, яичко упало и разбилось. Дед плачет, баба плачет, а курочка кудахчет. Не плачь, дед, не плачь, баба. Снесу вам яичко, не золотое, а простое.
It's a personal pleasure. Thank you very much. You're a really good kid. I see on the slide, you can see how this chart works. Like for now, we have 3 stories here. You can choose and record it and send this voice record to bot, and it will return back new version with music mapped on your voice. So it's really simple, but it shows how it's gonna work. And in future, like in version 2.0, Alex, again, can you show how this same story will looks like?
Жили-были дед да баба, и была у них курочка ряба. Снесла курочка яичко, не простое яичко, а золотое. Дед бил, не разбил. Баба била, не разбила. Мышка бежала, хвостиком задела, яичко упало и разбилось. Дед плачет.
So, for those who don't know Russian very well, I will explain. So, here we have a voice of animals and some additional effects that mapped on the record in particular place. So, when we say chicken, for example, we can hear that it's chicken, produce some voice. And also we have music here, so it helps for kids to fall asleep faster. And that is the idea of the second version of our solution. So it will be mapped automatically. So this bot will analyze the speech and particular patterns of particular words will be mapped with particular sound effects. And that is our idea, yes? This idea of our project. And by the way, we think that this simple solution, yes, it's quite simple idea. We hope it's good, but it's simple to use some kind of fairy tale system, yes, for kids. But the idea of having a pattern, voice pattern for particular words, like a speech analyzer, has a very good potential in other areas and other projects. For now, you know that most social networks, they based on text, yes. But nowadays there is a trend to have more voices, records of voice. Like in Telegram, for example, many people not type anymore. They make audio records and send to each other. And this is the area where we can implement such technology, like create some library of voice alternatives to emoji. Like you pronounce some particular voice and there are sound effects related to this voice. And it will help you to enrich your records when you share it with your friends and whatever. So this is our future perspective for this project. But for now, it's a fairy tale system, and it's Ellie who today tell you these wonderful stories. Thank you for your attention, and you're welcome to questions. Or not now, questions later.
Yeah, we do the questions at the end.
Okay.
Also, if you want to try it out, there's the QR code, so you can already, if you have a child or if you have, I don't know, somebody who has a child, and you can already tell them how to use what. And so actually, I will fly home to my daughter and wife tomorrow, so then I can try it myself. So I'm pretty
But I won't
excited.
give you my iPad.
All right. So thank you and the entire team for doing this work. And with that, third and final team for today, who also share with you what they have been doing in the context of voice and intelligent voice systems. And it brings us a little bit more into the space of adults. And so away from learning and babies to the world that you're all living in. And also with a system where I think it has quite some big potential as the time goes on and we get more and more used to work with this type of system. All right. Stage is yours. By the way, I started to record this, so we can say hello. Here's the camera, because I thought that you have a memory later, so I will share it. All right.
Hello everyone. Feedback. All the people like to share their experience. However, sometimes it can be not that easy. Let's imagine you're in a restaurant and food there is just awful. However, maybe you're too shy or waiter was too helpful to you, so you don't want to upset him. So you just go home and forget about it. However, and for example, we can, I think, check it right here. Who for last month had spent some time in restaurant or coffee eating out? Yeah, raise your hands, please. Yeah, as I said, yeah, like 100% of you. And who left feedback there, please? Raise your hand. Yeah, exactly. And maybe it's news for you, but for restaurants, feedback is essential because without it, they like blindly try to satisfy you, and usually they are not very successful at it. And in our study that we've done in Innopolis and Kazan, we found out, first of all, exactly what we've just found out. So only like maybe 10% of people leave feedback in restaurants, or even more, or even less. And even when they do, this feedback is mostly outrageous, so it's not constructive and doesn't really help restaurants. During our study with clients of restaurants, we came up with idea, and
So yeah, we came up with the idea of Weiver. It's a voice assistant that brings balance to the reviews. Imagine you are sitting in a restaurant, you're having a good meal, you're heading to the exit, and suddenly you realize that maybe the waiter was not very polite with you, or maybe your meal was too salty, for example. And here, our friendly assistant will be ready to hear, to talk with you about your experience in the restaurant. He will listen to you, he will make a dialogue about it, and further, he will pass this information to the staff and to the work.
Yeah, so that's our system. That's an application that allows you to provide the feedback directly to him, which in a case will provide the feedback to the restaurant. So it's installed in the restaurant somewhere on the exit. So it tries to make a dialogue with you, so to derive much more information from you in the form of just a normal human speech. So it extracts the feedback from the voice, so basically it extracts the context, so the restaurant will know what's the issue. So how does it work? Basically it uses a computer vision to recognize if the human nearby. It tries to attract attention. When it's attracted your attention, it tries to make a dialogue with you. So basically he tries to greet you, he says that he works in here. What is your issue? Maybe you would like to send feedback. So basically you speak with him with your natural language. You receive some answers, like he tries to make a dialogue, like to extend something like, oh, how do you like the food? What is the service? How's the design of the place? And etc. And it's only you who decide how would you approach with it. So we have a little video of how we test it out. So basically you approach it to notice it because it has a little sound, it's a kind of a sound. So sound is not that good, but it actually talks with you in a robotic voice. We will show it later how it works in the routine. So this kind of experience you can have. As I said, it answers from the polarity it says. So if it's something bad, it will answer you some bad things. I will deal with those instances.
Service is great. I like everything. Yeah, let me know.
So that's how it works. How it actually works inside from the technical part. Right now we are using IBM Watson and Azure to help us out with the context that we are driving. So basically IBM Watson helps us to provide a dialogue. So and Azure services allows us to understand what is the context. Is it a bad thing or it is a good thing that he is talking about? Is the restaurant good or bad? So from this state, IBM Watson decides what will be the dialogue next, what will be the next question, or how it will react to it. So we're using computer vision to interact without using the buttons, only using the interface, basically. So it actually enhances the experience, as we noticed, because you don't need to push any buttons and you're not getting confused. And for the speech recognition, we are just using the Siri key. But what's more important is there's one more thing to it. So basically, the system will be applicable for the administration, so they like feedback. And there's just a new way to provide the feedback. But for the users, we prepared something more. So it's kind of a map application. So what it is, we are basically deriving the feedback from the users. We collect them. There's a lot of them, maybe will be. So, and from that, we can create something like a map of the place that you've been. So by deriving the context in the first application, we can derive those words and create this tag map. So this tag map will allow you to find the places by tags. So if you heard some jazz music in one place and you would like to visit some place with jazz music one more time, so basically it will show you where the jazz music is. Or maybe some place has a lot of salty food and it will be a large text saying that it's really salty. So about this application, it's once again we are using such services as Microsoft Azure to derive these tags, and Flutter basically it's a multi-platform tool, so it allowed us to make an application both in iOS and Android. So that's it with our project. We would like to hear your feedback for this application, and thank you. So if you would like to test it out, we are out here. So we will be testing out this application on you. Right now, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very much. So that completes our presentations for today. I don't know if we have any questions right now from the audience for any of the teams. Otherwise, I would simply invite you to come here, test the things out. This is actually quite fun, and the other one as well. Yeah, all the 3 applications you can test and see for yourselves. Other than that, I would like to thank the students for this course. It was a great pleasure to work with you. You know, we had a crazy week, like we had a crazy week because we were very intensively working every day, 8 teaching hours in this week. But I think just, you know, seeing where we started on Monday morning or Monday midday and where we end up on Friday evening, it's always amazing what students in Innopolis can do in a week. So thank you very much. Yeah, that's it from my side. For the students, I will ask you to provide feedback for the course. So I will ask you, like we did once, what I should stop, start, and continue doing. So please, before you run away then, write it down. And for all the others, you know, we have people here who took this course previously and are still fans. So I hope that maybe next semester, I see some of you in the audience of the course. When we share our invitation, you can follow me on Instagram, and I usually share it. So, and then we will also use the Telegram channels so that this community grows and we have a few more people in the room in the future. All right, thank you very much. One funny thing I wanted to say. You know, I always tell the students at the beginning about this international conference called CHI, where everybody goes to present the international research on human-computer interaction. And there's no human-computer interaction research in Russia, really, but here. So this is also the start of the human-computer interaction kind of like group or class here in Russia. So that's also quite exciting. All right, thank you very much.